These are the quads I have flown the most and crashed the most. The Turbo Ace is from Wow Hobbies. It's been good for me. It's got a brushless gimbal on it. The Quadcopter is made from a Walmart cake box, and I built it because I wanted to be able to land on water. And I can mount the camera on top, or I can mount it below, so that when it's sitting on the surface of the water, I can look underneath. It's frequently my go-to quad for goofing around because I can pull the arms off and store them inside for transport. So it's really nice that way. This is the Quadcopter. This is the first crash, and this is at Frenchman Coulee near Vantage. It's a popular climbing area in eastern Washington. I guess this one would be pre-flight prep. I'm normally pretty careful about checking battery levels. Wanted to get one last flight in, just pull back, show the scale of the columns that are breaking away from the wall here. You can see a climber in the far left edge of the frame. Gives you an idea of the scale. And I tried to bring it back right here, and it didn't respond. It didn't have enough battery, and decided it was going to set itself down. A little harder than I would have hoped for. So now I always use a low voltage alarm when flying. You guys who are flying with OSDs, the on-screen displays, obviously don't have to worry about that. This is a winter flight. This is a house that I lived in last winter at the edge of an apple orchard. This is a strange one for me. This is one where I really didn't have an explanation for it, for what happened. But right about here, I lose all control over it. It starts to fly away from me, and it's going down. Afterward, I found a disconnected ESC lead inside the housing. It didn't look like the crash caused it to disconnect, so I'm just guessing that it disconnected in flight. It must have been barely on, so I don't know how that would have happened. Here I'm flying at the Kenai Peninsula at a friend's place up in Alaska, and this is the box again. No FPV, no gimbal, no GPS. And so when you're flying at a distance using line of sight like that, it's hard to judge depth perception. I thought I had plenty of room to go around this tree and come up over it, and I didn't. These next two flights are crashes where I knew when I was flying that the quad wasn't responding properly, that something was wrong, and I chose to fly anyway, thinking I could overcome it. And I actually had a few flights with the box, which this is already, but just when something started to go wrong, I couldn't count on it reacting the way I was used to, and it hit hard. This is with the 830D. It's another time where I lifted off in the woods, and I immediately felt something was wrong, and I thought, well, I can fly through it. I can get control over it. I can overcome whatever its issue is, but yeah, it was worse than I thought. This was one of my 2 most unpleasant crashes. Again, flying in winter. Took it up way high. Again, I'm flying without FPV, and the bottom of the quad is white, and the sky was milky white, and I lost it, and I ran down the row of trees to try to see if I could get a better view of it, and I just could never see it again. I tried moving it one way and moving it another, but I just didn't. I guess at one point it started coming back, and then I stopped because I couldn't see it, and I tried going the other way, and I moved it further out over the lake. So eventually it ran out of power and went down, and it was so cold that when it hit the water, it just broke. It broke apart. The plastic wasn't strong enough to withstand the impact in the cold. So my camera broke off, as it frequently does when the box quad crashes, because it's just mounted on with glue. And fortunately it did break off. I had a floaty on the back, so it sat on the surface and looked down while my baby sank into the depths. I think it added up to around $750 on this one crash. And it's probably at about 200 feet. It's a very deep lake. Bye-bye. You want to take chances. You don't get good shots without taking chances. But, man, it's sure a drag when it doesn't work out. So here again, I'm flying the box. You can tell by the instability in the picture. And I was going to bring it in, fly it overhead, pass over the roof of the house, a nice pass by. And I'd moved a little bit after I started flying, and I sort of lost track of where the tree was. It's a little closer than I would have liked, but I still had room to make it. But when I turned, as it passed overhead, I turned my body so I could face the other way. I just gently pulled on the stick, and you can see just before, it's lined up fine, but just as I turn my body, I pull slightly on the stick, and it takes it hard right into the tree. So you really have to be careful with what your hands are doing on the controller. I tried to bring it back. I gunned it after it hit the tree, and it flattened out just for a second, but it was too close to the ground, and it hit hard. It roared into the ground when I gave it juice. Yeah, it was kind of a mess. This is my first FPV flight. I decided it was time to learn how to do it. I'm not using goggles. I'm using a monitor that I set up, and This is really stupid, but I thought I'll take it into the woods, where I was living at the time, and I'll fly through these tight woods. It'll be great. It's not a good idea. I could probably do it now. There's plenty of flyers that would have no problem going through these woods. But this was my first time, and I just should have set it down right here and gone somewhere else. But I didn't, and a little bit of a hard time seeing the screen. But I just really wanted to fly it. I wanted to fly through these woods, and everything was going fine until I felt like, oh, I'm not sure where I can fit here. The 5.8 signal was breaking up a little bit because of the trees, and I got unsure of myself, and I took my eye off the screen and I looked up and I couldn't see it, and so I'm trying to see it and it's drifting backwards, drifted right into a tree. More time, more money, and this is the first flight after fixing it from the first FPV flight. This isn't FPV, I'm just making sure that the build's okay. And really dumb, I used a battery that didn't have Velcro on it. I used sort of a double system, straps and Velcro, and this battery didn't have the Velcro on it. It was just sitting in the straps, and the straps apparently weren't tight enough, because at one point I hit the brakes right there and the battery shifts forward, and now suddenly the quad's trying to maintain balance. But it's flying away from me. It's not able to be balanced because the battery's so far out of position. So when I try going the other direction, I just basically speed it up right into the side of the house. Big bang, breaks their window, and so I stood in the yard and waited for the owners to come outside, because I couldn't access their yard from my yard. I had to go completely around the block, and I didn't want them to come out and find the quad and nobody there. So I wanted to wait till they came out, talk to them over the fence, and then go around.
Is it safe to grab it, or? Battery flew off and shit got over our house. We just broke our window.
The owner and the son came out. I have to say, these people were really cool about it. They could have been really upset, rightly so, and they could have confiscated the quad. They could have called the cops. They could have been really harsh about it, and who could blame them?
Watch your head, your glass might come down.
Didn't take off.
Fucking fixed. He just busted our window.
Which window?
The one right in there.
Right over there.
Saw the extra bedroom up there?
Yeah. It looks like it's the outer window, not just broke the outer window. Didn't break that.
Well, I was thinking we should have replaced Kelly's last one, before the auditor was here. But now you can just get 2, 3 replaced.
We need 4 replaced, actually.
So it did that much.
The helicopter's like this big. It's a little helipad.
Oh, wow.
So
I'm glad you came down, Kelly, because Dad and I just thought it was a noise upstairs. We didn't even think about it. Yeah.
Let him know his stuff's right here. I'm gonna. Do you want me to come back down, or you want to handle it?
Why don't you just stay here?
Hi there.
Hi.
We're having too much fun, right?
Looks like it kind of,
I did something I've never done before. I flew it with the battery not properly secured, and I was just going to go up a little ways and check it out, and I think it slid out of place and threw its balance way off, and I couldn't control it at that point. I'm really sorry about that.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it actually took out.
It did?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Here's part of your.
this must be your battery.
Okay. Good luck to everybody. I hope you can avoid as many crashes as possible because they're really not fun. Thanks for watching. Fly safe.